everybody, welcome to Polymer Clay TV. I'm Elisa, and we're getting ready for Halloween, which is my favorite holiday, and we came out with these really cute and adorable, and actually a little scary but more cute, sugar skulls. And I wanted to show you how to use them. They are actually deco discs, which are these acrylic discs where the impression is basically engraved out, so the design comes raised up when you print it, which you'll see. It's really easy to do, and you can have a lot of fun with it. We are using today the 2.5-inch cutter. We have the deco discs, which are the sugar skull ones. I have a bar of it's not copper, bronze, and I've just rolled it out to the thickest setting. And I've got a stencil today, and I also have one of my metal design tools, which they come in a set of 20. And I have a real metal powders. These are from the new set that we have. And I have some pan pastels. Okay, so we'll work with a little, but actually this stencil here, if you purchase anything from createalong.com, you can put free stencil in the notes section and we'll send it to you for free. And this will be throughout the end of the week, so make sure to take advantage of it before they're gone, because it's only as long as we have some. So anyways, what you're going to do is you're going to start off by conditioning your clay and rolling it out, and then you want to cut out your circle. Now, you can use your hands, you can press down, you can turn it around as you do it. I like to take an acrylic block and kind of move this around, and that helps to make sure that it gets all the way down there. Just my little tip here. And then I'll turn it around or whatever. And then you have less cleanup when you get it cleaned up inside the actual cutter. I still like to go around the edges and kind of, if in case there's anything like a little piece lingering. So there you have that. Now we're going to add our stencil. So what I want to do is I like to center it, because I kind of want my skulls in the center. Okay, and then you want to roll over it gently. You're not looking to squish the clay, but you are looking to make sure there's no air pockets between the stencil and the clay. Okay, so at this point now, you have your design, and you can come back with any kind of texture you want. And you want to do these things while it's still with the stencil on it. Then you're getting it in the right spot. So I've chosen this one, like I told you. It's a little flower, and it comes in our set of the metal stamp tools. And I'm just going to go around it and impress it into all of these empty spaces. The negative space left over from the stencil. And like I said, you don't have to use these tools. You can use a regular rubber stamp. You could poke into it with any kind of textured item. The sky's the limit with this for sure. You can just do whatever you want. But I thought this looked cool, so that's why I'm going with this one. And so another tip here is, when you're doing this, don't be in any rush to get your stencil off, because we're going to also add the pigments at this point, because if you don't, you run into a bigger chance of getting it on the areas where you don't want it. So I like to take care of everything, while it's still has a stencil on it. If you think you might need a little on the edges, or in case they might show through, you can go ahead and do that. But it really covers, the skull really covers it. So let me take my metal powders here, the miracle metals. And then I want to highlight. Now I'm going to avoid doing the center here, because that's where my skull is going to go. And when you try to put polymer clay onto pigments, it doesn't want to stick. So this is why you have to think ahead with your design too. So I'm just going over this and highlighting it and coloring it in here. And you could do this whatever way you want to do. Add multiple colors. You can use the pan pastels. You can use pigments. You can use ink. Anything that your heart desires, that's what you can do. That's what I do. I mean, you could even use foil in the areas. You know, there's lots of possibilities. This is just a stepping stone to, you know, to give you the inspiration, and then you can have at it. And we love seeing what you make. So share that in polymerclaytribe.com. So anyways, now we should be ready to pull it off. And there you go. You've got the design with the ink, with the pigments exactly where we want it. And, you know, it's really cool. So now, let me move that out of the way. We've got our skull to impress. Now, what I do is I find it easier for me to do it when I have my clay doubled up. I don't like it to be too thin. So what I do is I run it through the pasta machine, and then I fold it in half. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've conditioned this clay and run it through the third thickest setting. And what I mean by double up is I fold it in half so that I got a decent thickness to work with. Now, the thing with deco discs are they can stick. So it's best to use water as a release, or you can use something like Armor All. But to be honest, I've had really good luck with them not sticking, and I'll show you my technique, so that might help you. So number one, I don't ever use really thin clay on my deco discs, because when you go to pull that out, it wants to distort, it wants to tear. So like I said, I double it up on the third thickest setting, and I could even go thinner. You know, this is not, you don't have to go this thick. But anyways, I like to put my deco disc right on top of the clay. And I push in, and then I use my rod, and I like to make sure I go all the way around the edges so that, you know, nothing doesn't get imprinted. Because what's going to happen is when I remove this, the design is going to be popped up rather than pushed in, which is really cool. So once you think you've done it and you've got it really, you know, impressed, don't try to pull it off. This is my tip here. I go underneath the clay, and when I go underneath the clay, it wants to pop up on its own. See, so I'm not forcing it, and look at the gorgeous, perfect impression that I get when I do it that way. How awesome is that? So, just a little tidbit, and I'm in Florida, okay, and our average temperature this summer is 97 or something. It's not quite that hot because it's morning now, but let me tell you, it has not been cool around here, so, and I have not had anything stick. So that's really been the one tip that I can give you. So at this point then, you want to just cut out your skull. And I don't really want to bore you so much with that. So let me just kind of, I can finish this off camera, but you can see on the other ones here, you know, you would just come back and place your skull in the center, like so. And I should have thought ahead. Let me see if I can get this guy off. Yeah, I can. And then, so once you're done cutting it out, you just place it right in the center there. And you got a super, super cool veneer. And this is one of our polymer clay trading coins, which we're going to be announcing the next swap soon. So definitely go over to polymerclaytribe.com. That's our Facebook group. And pay attention to the swap info that we have. So there's lots of ideas for you and lots of fun. And really, you know, I didn't show you on camera cutting this off because I didn't want to bore you to death, but really it takes like 5 minutes, if that, to cut it out with your X-Acto blade. So it's really no big deal at all. And when you're done, you have something super awesome like that. So thanks for joining me. If you have any questions or anything, you can always find us in the tribe. And if you want to pick up the products, like I said, this stencil's free with purchase. Just put free stencil in the notes section and we'll send it to you automatically when you purchase at createalong.com. Thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next time.